Your name, please.
Hi, my name is Reeva.
And tell me about your fitness. What do you do?
I'm a gym bunny.
Okay.
So I'm at gym like every single day for at least an hour. I used to be a show jumper, then I broke my back, so that didn't happen anymore.
Valentine's Day 2013 would be a busy day for Reeva Steenkamp. She planned to spend it with youngsters. A speech at Sandown High School in Johannesburg, then tea at Lerato House in Pretoria, a haven for girls at risk of human trafficking. Reeva never gave her speech. She never got to Lerato House. By the morning of Valentine's Day, Reeva was dead. Like Reeva, Pearl Tusi is a model and celebrity. She and Reeva were close friends. A year after the killing on Valentine's Day, Pearl visited Lerato House to deliver the speech her friend never gave.
Reeva was a friend of mine. It's really an honor to be able to come here today and spend time with you, I guess, on her behalf. I can hear her voice saying this. I can hear her speaking this because this would have definitely come from her heart and she would have meant every single word in here. So, here I am. Are you all ready? I was raised on a small farm just outside of Cape Town. In a way, I was blessed and privileged to be away from the pressures of city life, and I grew up to appreciate the simpler things above the superficial.
Reeva's story is about the power of the will. It's about changing one's life beyond all expectation, beyond all imagination. Through willpower, Reeva reached the Premier League in modelling. Through willpower, she starred in a reality show broadcast in the month of her death. Through willpower, Reeva was in line to become one of South Africa's top TV presenters. But willpower could not prevent the tragedy that was about to unfold, the tragedy which would bring Reeva's story to an end. Abruptly, violently, in an instant.
This was a fantastic editorial she did for Woman in Home. And yeah, it was such a beautiful shoot of her. The clothing was magnificent as well.
I can just hear her laughing.
I
She
know.
was really laughing.
This is, it's
hear her
actually
in
one of my
pictures.
favorite pictures. It is so, so stunning. I love, 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 love these.
Ice Models is one of Africa's top modelling agencies. Every aspiring model wants to join Ice Models so they can afford to be selective.
It can be quite a demeaning industry in the way that it's not necessarily about you as a person. At the end of the day, it's about the garment.
A beautiful body, beautiful body.
Jane Cilliers, director of Ice Models Johannesburg, knows that all models need one crucial asset: And it's not a physical one.
You can go to a casting and you're one of 200 other girls sitting in a room waiting to go in for this casting. And you can sit there and go, oh, that girl's got longer legs than I do. Oh, look how thick her hair is. And you can become very insecure about it. And it takes a strong-willed person to be able to handle this industry. It's not easy.
I mean, it's a pretty much, we'll call you, don't call us, we'll call you. And they're looking for a specific look. And you can't take that personally. You just can't.
Cheat your face this way a little bit more, and it's a little shy. Lovely. You've got 2 seconds to sell yourself, actually, because directors sit with a fast-forward button, and only if something catches their eye are they going to stop, because they're looking at so many casting tapes.
Marina van Tonder is a casting director in Johannesburg.
Reeva, any of your commercials flighting in Switzerland?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Give me a left and a right, and the other way, and face me.
With over 3 decades of casting experience, Marina saw in Reeva that most rare of qualities, the ability to adapt and evolve.
I auditioned Reeva many times, from when she first came to Johannesburg, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and she was lovely. And it was amazing over the years to see how this young, innocent girl evolved into a lovely actress. She looked like a vacant blonde, but wow, she knew how to work the camera. She really did have something different. You'd do a big casting and there are 40 people on your tape, and she was always on my shortlist.
You can walk into castings and you sort of get comments, her legs are too bandy, or you should start doing Botox. I took a lot of rejection and it's a bit hard and you take it to heart. But I decided, you know, I am who I am. I'm not going to try to change who I am.
Simone da Silva is an aspiring model. Just like Reeva, Simone is in her 20s. Just like Reeva, she comes from a small, quiet town far from the rush of the big city. And just like Reeva, she knows that she has to have a will of steel.
I definitely feel with certain jobs, myself and other models are objectified. I know it's not what defines me. I never want to be perceived as a one-dimensional person. I think that would be the worst label to ever be put on my head.
On the farm, we had no money, but I was blessed with amazing parents who never allowed me to be aware of my circumstances.
Modest circumstances. But Reeva had a very precious gift. The one thing no amount of money can buy. Beauty. Cosmetics giant Avon noticed it first. They voted her their Face of the Future in 2006. Reeva was quick to see the potential. She went online and began to write.
She dropped me an email saying, hi, I'd like to be a model, and I naturally replied saying, well, thank you very much. You're beautiful from the pictures you've sent. How tall are you? And she let me know she's 1.68, 169. And I very politely said, unfortunately, that's going to be slightly too short for ice models. And I gave her a couple of other numbers of agencies to try.
Despite my height disadvantage and the difficulty in general of breaking into the modeling industry, I put my head down and worked hard towards my dream.
It was, of course, the one thing no amount of willpower could change. But Reeva knew how her other assets could distract from those missing few centimeters of height.
Next thing, I get a phone call. Please, can I just come in and see you? Just give me this one quick meeting. She was like a whirlwind coming through our door, and it was love at first sight.
To come into the industry as a shorter girl, you face a lot more challenges than a regular model may face. You go to castings, you are shorter than all the rest of the girls. You know, show yourself, show that there's more to you than your height and that you're willing to work and you know how to be yourself.
Ice models couldn't resist the power of Reeva's will, but they didn't want their selection of her to set a precedent.
Afterwards. I remember when we used to make her sit in her chair, she was not allowed to stand up. When we had new girls coming in that wanted to be models and they weren't quite tall enough and she had to stay in her chair, especially if she was wearing flats.
Spin pop, don't get up.
Yeah.
That was the code.
With single-minded focus and driven by ambition, Reeva was determined to forge her life in the image she'd conceived.
I do remember one of the first encounters I had with Reeva. She told me, you know, how this industry, you can get caught up and you can get a bit lost in it. And you get the girls that do lose their way and will do things, anything to get their jobs, and just to keep your morals, keep your head, don't lose who you are to get a job.
No matter how many people say that they love you, if you do not love you and your person, then you will never step outside of the physical you.
There's going to be lots of ethical challenges that girls are going to have to wrestle with, and you know, you need integrity to stick to your guns, or you know, it's not always the most prettiest industry to be involved in.
Journalist Hagen Engler met Reeva when she was 15. Reeva had just won a local model search in her hometown of Port Elizabeth.
I seem to remember having auburn hair, and she had this kind of very pale complexion, but like already very vibrant and self-assured. We're both from PE, so we're kind of homies. The vibe there, it's like working class, it's a motor city, you know, they make cars and windscreens there. You know, there's a harbor. It's no, not glamorous. Amazing people, very real, down to earth, unpretentious.
The people might be down to earth, but Reeva wanted to fly. If you're young, beautiful, and clever, small town South Africa just isn't enough.
I'm a Benoni girl, born and bred. I lived in Benoni until I was 20 years old when I moved on to Sandton. Growing up around this neighborhood was also really awesome. We had a lot of friends who lived close. We had a nice sense of freedom around here growing up. Yeah, I really have a soft spot for Benoni and my home. It's small in the fact that everybody knows everybody's business, but that's nice in a way. You know, there's a closeness. You go out, you see everybody you know, and it's nice, that closeness.
Reeva's sights were set on the skies, far beyond Port Elizabeth. Quietly, privately, Reeva laid her plans. Her focus gave her a silent strength and a charisma her friends at St. Dominic's Priory School still remember.
She had a lot of friends, but having her as a friend was a very special thing, and you just wanted to keep her in your life. Her presence was so known from the minute she came to Priory. Like, basically, she walked into a room and we all just stopped and wondered, like, who's this girl? There was a silence about it, but it was like a strong silence.
Reeva knew beauty alone would not be enough. Beauty passes, fades. Education would give long-term security. Money was an issue, but Reeva's unfailing willpower found a solution.
I decided to study law. I worked hard to be acknowledged as one of the top 15 academics at university, so that my studies could be 80% covered by bursaries, and I worked to pay off the rest.
When we were at school, we were very competitive with one another. There was actually a group of us in Standard 5, and we all competed for grades. So we were very much like driven to actually get good marks.
Destiny intervened when Reeva's body took a devastating blow in a horse riding accident. it was a dangerous corner in her life. Once more, it was pure strength of will which enabled Reeva to turn possible tragedy into opportunity.
I broke my back towards the end of varsity. I had to learn mobility again and made a massive life decision with regards to my career. Excuse me. I was in an abusive relationship at the same time. The boyfriend, his mother used to abuse him. And altogether, these factors encouraged my move to Jersey.
Johannesburg, fast, glamorous, cosmopolitan. A city full of hope, full of opportunity, full of danger, full of heartache. An unforgiving city. Johannesburg would put Reeva's self-belief to the test. An old friend had already made it big here. Hagen Engler had become editor of FHM magazine. Reeva hoped their friendship might give her the inside track. But Johannesburg had made Hagen uncompromising.
She wasn't in the best shape, so we didn't cast her, you know. She was slightly overweight, I guess.
Reeva knew how to mold herself to her own will. Height she could do nothing about, but weight was no problem. Soon she was in front of Hagen again.
The next year she was in slightly better shape. She didn't make it again. I think the third time she was in just stunning shape. You know, she'd done the gym, just toned.
And here with this FHM shoot, she was just so determined. She got the cover and she wanted to look the best and she trained hard.
She would do at least a month of training every single day, and then she would high protein, low carb, 6 meals a day, and she would hit that gym.
I think like the worst thing you can say about Reeva is that she was ambitious. And so I think a lot of what she did was calculated. She knew what she was doing. And, you know, she wasn't insincere, but she was ambitious. She wanted to go places. And you can't, you know, criticize someone for that.
There's a huge misconception about modeling. You know, people don't realize the work that goes into it. You do have to portray a fit and healthy image. At the end of the day, it does become a skill, and you learn a lot, but it's not just this glamorous lifestyle, not at all.
Reeva quickly learnt the rules of the game. She worked out the secret of success in this uncompromising industry. Beauty and intelligence help, but the key is relationships.
She always worked well with us as well, very professional. You know, shows up on time, works properly, works quick, fast, you know, nails it. You know, the products always look amazing afterwards.
But it wasn't just her relationships with employers that Reeva nurtured. She was also popular with her peers.
Everyone likes to say that models are mean or, you know, that it's competitive, and there is that element, but there's also an element of like an absolute, like overwhelming, genuine heart from a lot of the girls. And I think those of us who met each other and kind of clicked on that level have really like stood by each other and supported each other and tried to, you know, lift each other up.
Makeup artist and model Karen Durant was Reeva's neighbour for a time in Johannesburg. She saw straight away how Reeva could be irresistible.
I think she's like every guy's dream girl in every aspect of the way. But she would like bake banana bread and make like jam, and then she'd come and drop off like these banana breads and these jams and stuff. And I was going through my fridge the other day and I found a jam that she'd made that I never ate. I tried it and she put banana in it. Who in the world puts banana in a jam? And I just couldn't bring myself to throw it away.
Remember her banana cake? It really was her little specialty, because we used to get it, I mean, a lot of times we got the Madeira, but when it was special occasions, we would get her banana cake.
Before she came to live with us, when I went away, she still came here, made cake, bought banana bread, had tea.
Yeah.
She made us sit down as a family and eat dinner. She loved to cook.
She taught us how to cook.
We can't cook.
With Gina and Kim's family, Reeva found a secure home in a forbidding city. The Myers were trusted family friends, and Reeva soon began living with them. Gina and Kim became her adopted sisters.
Anybody who really came into contact with Reeva felt love. That's really not just saying it. I know people will say stuff like that, but it's really the truth.
She emanated love. She really did.
Reeva had discovered a new social network. Models, agents, makeup artists and photographers, all interconnected, all intertwined. Slowly but surely, Reeva had around her all she needed to forge her own new universe. Photographer Kevin Mark Pass soon came into Reeva's orbit.
Some of the closest friends I've got are models or makeup artists. I'm a people specialist and I think I understand models well. And if you understand the models and you can get them comfortable, then you'll be good at this job. The photography is very secondary to that. It's beautiful. Stunning, stunning, stunning. I've always said you can't Photoshop awkward. So it doesn't matter how skilled you are with the camera. If the person's not comfortable, they're not comfortable.
Reeva was busy creating a new, personal, private self each day. But she knew she would depend on people like Kevin to create the public Reeva. She found the key to unlock Kevin's commitment to her success.
It's trust. Really, it's trust. Truly spectacular, beautiful photographs only happen when people are intimate and vulnerable and exposed to a certain extent, which is terrifying for a model, unless they feel comfortable and unless they trust the photographer. It's beautiful.
The shoot today, I think, was a bit more raw and a bit more natural. Just a memory of Reeva and trying to do something symbolic for her.
So beautiful.
Be brave. Always see the positive. Make your voice heard. Your physical seen. And the presence of your mental you felt. Reeva was the most beautiful person inside and out. She was the most loyal person that I've ever met. When she walked into a room, it was just warmth, and it really was like the sunshine just walked into the room. She always, made a point of finding out what was happening in our lives and, making sure that she gave us good advice.
It's who she was. It's how she always was. I don't think she knew any other way of being. You felt completely loved by her, completely accepted by her. When she spoke to you, it was like she was only speaking to you.
The more I uncover about the private Reeva, the more I understand the compulsion people felt for her. People were mesmerized by Reeva, mesmerized by her beauty, mesmerized by her love and her care, mesmerized by her willpower. Reeva had complete control of her universe, and it enabled her to be generous.
I met Reeva in about 2009. She was one of those models we'd all look up to. So I approached her because she was already successful, already doing well, and thought I could maybe get there with her help.
Growing up on the dusty streets of Attridgeville Township, law student Mashadi knew she had potential. She had to break out. She had to find a way to create a new self. Help came from an unexpected quarter.
There are some nice models, but many aren't very nice, and they'll just look at you. It's basically like a competition. But Reeva didn't see it like that because she was willing to help and push me. I mean, I was just another girl from the township asking her for help. She took it upon herself to be there and keep checking on me, giving me direction. She was just something else.
A successful model, Reeva's selfless generosity was unusual in that ruthless world. It made her a highly valued role model too. For the youngsters she mentored, Reeva's advice was just the reassurance they needed, especially at traumatic moments like castings.
I'd go to a casting and I'd be very nervous, very stressed, and she'd tell me, don't do that. If they tell you to dance and act crazy, dance and act crazy. You don't have to be embarrassed. She basically showed me how to just let go and calm down a bit.
Your name, please.
Hi, my name's Reeva.
And Reeva, any current commercials on for you?
Yes, Pin Pop, Clover, Reds, and I'm sure something else I can't remember.
You left my profile.
Roger, take your meds, lovey.
Reeva didn't mind to make a fool of herself. Models tend to only want to be beautiful. You know, they don't want to be silly. And that's where the actor comes in, that I don't mind making a fool of myself. You need brains to do that, I think, to not just want to be beautiful. It's easy to be beautiful.
Reeva certainly had the brains and the focus and a mischievous sense of humor. It was a devastating combination.
I'm at the Lady Gaga concert. I wasn't going to come, and then I got roped in 2 days ago.
If you'd get to an event that is boring, she'd get there and tell you, have you had the cupcakes? I saw cupcakes there. I'm gonna go have a few. Let's go. We go have cupcakes, and she'd be like, I had about 3 now. Let's go try that. Let's go see this.
Yeah, we ripped each other to pieces, and she didn't stop there. The things that she said, and that made her so special, down to earth, could speak to anyone in any situation. She climbed in our hearts. I mean, she was a friend as well. We'd send a message saying, how are you feeling? That extra bit.
Being loved by others, although an amazing feeling to have, does not define your place in the world.
There's men around that they look for a trophy girlfriend. They want someone to make them look good, and someone to walk into a party with who looks good on their arm, and all their friends are, ooh. In this industry, romantic relationships can be a difficulty, but the main thing is to have someone that can support you, also has a good self-confidence level, and be there for you.
With her looks and her intelligence, with her charm and her popularity, it was inevitable that Reeva would soon begin shining bright and loud on male radars in Johannesburg. That was when Oscar Pistorius noticed her. Introduced by Justin Devaris, a mutual friend, Oscar and Reeva quickly recognized in each other the same drive, the power of the will, the power to confront one's situation, address the challenges, and create a new self. Although there was a powerful connection, this was also a unique opportunity for Reeva to enter another world. A world which, up till now, she'd only skirted. A world she'd seen from the outside, looking in. Reeva knew she had to handle things very carefully.
Hi, I'm Oscar State tonight.
Andre Neerveling is the editor of Heat magazine. His job is to keep a finger on the pulse of celebrity culture.
Most celebrity couples, as soon as they get a bit of fame, they just jump into the spotlight, and it's all about appearing on the red carpet together, that kind of thing. And with these two, it was different. It was definitely a deeper kind of relationship where they spent a lot of private time together and with friends and stuff, you know, not in front of the cameras.
Following their first public appearance together at the South African Sports Awards, Oscar and Reeva were touted as South Africa's answer to Posh and Becks or Giselle and Tom Brady. The celebrity mags went into a feeding frenzy, but Reeva kept them hungry.
Heat had approached Reeva and Oscar to do a very exclusive Valentine's Day issue photo shoot with Heat for cover. It would have been their very first photo shoot together. And they had both agreed, but they kept on putting it off because Reeva told Heat that she was scared that the media was going to taint their relationship. So eventually, after a lot of begging and pleading, they agreed to do it. But unfortunately, as we all know, that never happened.
It was a new relationship, and I think that with a new relationship, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of discovery that goes along with it, and she was excited, as anyone would be when you meet someone new that you connect with.
As you can see, the shuttle had just stopped and I was actually approaching. That's Oscar coming to greet me. I think they were such a great couple. I mean, they looked like magic.
Those who knew Reeva knew the strength of her willpower, knew her determination to be in control of her universe. They could see just what she was doing. Sarit Tomlinson is a publicist. She knows just how to build a celebrity profile.
Reeva was very headstrong. She knew exactly what she wanted, as kind and as gentle and amazing and pure as she was. She had a good sense of where she wanted to be and how she wanted to get there.
Accept who you are. Acknowledge your absolute can-dos in life. And work on your maybes so that you can be a better person for the ultimate upliftment of those around you.
With their close connections in the media, both in South Africa and internationally, capacity relations can make you a star. Reeva knew this was another world she must penetrate, and Simpiwe Majola was just the person she needed.
Somehow she got hold of my numbers and then we started chatting, and every day she'd phone, wanting to come join the company. I would say, not in a bad way, she was one of my stalkers. And then this one time I gave in. I went out for coffee with her. So while I was sitting there, I can't remember, I was talking to my friend. Obviously, I was talking about her, but in Zulu. But not in a bad way. We're talking about her, but not in a bad way. And she responded in Xhosa. I'm like, hang on, you understand? You know the language? And that's where it all started.
The first time that I met her, the one thing that stuck to me, I remember walking into the boardroom because Simpiwe had set it up without my knowledge. It was actually quite funny. And I kind of walked in and I was like, oh, hi, Reeves. And after an hour, I walked out and the first thing I said to Simpiwe, I love her. I fell in love with her. She had a thing, when you spoke to her, she looked into your eyes. She was always listening, not just being there. She was always physically, mentally there in a conversation. She was a very special girl.
Reeva knew she could mesmerize people. She knew her personality could be irresistible. Still photographs could only convey some of her magnetism. Now she needed the world to see her in action.
She wanted to transition from being a model into being a celebrity with a purpose. She wanted to use it as a platform to make her visions and her feelings known and use that platform to do good.
Sarit did her job. A new reality TV show, Tropica Island of Treasure, needed fresh faces. Cover girl Reeva had all the qualifications.
She was nervous and excited, and I think for about 2 weeks before, she spoke about it every single day. But like, I wish you would have met her, because I can see her face in my head now and how she was laughing and like she'd like go like this.
She was so excited for Tropica and wanting to be her absolute best. we'd been having a conversation about her fitness and all of that, and I suggested that maybe she try, you know, sprint and jog and all of that, and it was the last thing I actually thought the woman would do. I came home on a Friday evening. She had this black beanie on and the scarf, and it looked like a man's camping jacket. As I parked my car, I saw this little figure, it was the middle of winter, like a little black fairy, like bouncing along the paving.
Reeva remembered all the lessons she'd learnt when modelling. Look stunning, be charming. Above all, be nice to your team. James Boone is used to seeing life through his camera lens, but on Tropica, Reeva managed to cross the invisible line between cast and crew.
On shoots in general, the shooting schedules are always pretty hectic. There's never enough time, and people get cranky.
People are becoming paranoid and not really trusting each other, and it's kind of affecting the mood a little bit.
She happened to have this beautiful sort of spirit about her that would permanently positive. So no matter how tired, no matter how exhausted or how run down they were, she would always get the crew up and get the contestants up especially.
A few weeks into the contest, Reeva lost the game and was evicted from Tropica.
Love you guys.
She was sensible enough not to show disappointment. In any case, Tropica had served its purpose.
She kind of played this personality thing that was just her, and it worked. So she just happened to get really far because she happened to be a really cool person, you know? Everybody wants her around. I mean, she didn't have one enemy, not one.
I take home with me so many amazing memories and things that are in here and that are in here that I'll treasure forever.
She was just on the up and up, and we were so excited to see where it would go after Tropica Island of Treasure.
She was super talented, she was super ambitious. She had so much to offer. We didn't need anything else. And so for us, the machine was working.
It's said when the wheel of fortune is at its height, there's only one way for it to go. There are those who worry when life is too good. They know happiness and sorrow are siblings, one never far behind the other. Reeva had the whole world in love with her. By all accounts, Reeva had Oscar Pistorius in love with her. And she herself was in love. Valentine's Day, the day the whole world celebrates love, should have been Reeva's day. And it was, but in its darkest form.
I got a phone call. They actually tried to call me a few times. It was quite early in the morning.
I could see my phone ringing and ringing and ringing, and I'm thinking, who hasn't arrived on set? And I can see it ringing, and it wouldn't be ringing constantly if everything was okay.
I knew something was wrong immediately.
I got a phone call from ICE asking if I could get a hold of Gina.
Gee, there's been an accident. Are you sitting down? And then I got up immediately, and I started screaming, "Where's Reeva? What happened to Reeva?"
And I took the phone call, and it was complete and utter shock, to the point that I absolutely point-blank refused to believe it. It was the worst day.
I looked at the headline saying Oscar's girlfriend, but it did not even a moment, I did not think that it could have been Reeva.
That morning, I was driving in the car, and I heard the bulletins, and I thought, maybe it's someone else.
And I think I phoned Reeva's phone probably about 20 times.
I started phoning her phone, and she wasn't answering.
Got it.
When I heard Oscar shot his girlfriend, it didn't immediately trigger in my mind, it's Reeva.
I see people tweeting about it, that Oscar's girlfriend has been shot. I just stopped for a while, but it didn't really make sense to me.
I phoned Gina, and Gina was crying, and I said, is it true? It can't be. I was in absolute and pure shock.
I was actually helping someone edit a story about it, and there was her name, and I was like, oh, yes, it's her. My God, you know, and she's dead. It was this incredible shock.
I think the first day or two, I was traumatic, like any person would be, I think. Just cried a lot. Yeah, and then I think after that, it just sort of became a bit surreal and unbelievable. I sort of switched off to it, I think.
It was just like a burning pain because she was like a sister to me.
Like a devastating earthquake, the ripples spread fast, far and wide, shockwave after shockwave. The whole world was shaken. Everyone stopped in their tracks. It tore apart those close to Reeva. But despite their trauma, some had to attend to practical details, like Reeva's appointment at Sandown School.
I actually phoned St. Piwe, and I told him that she had just been shot, and he was like, "Is she okay?" And I was like, "No, she's dead."
I was incredibly devastated because I felt that she was a star on the rise. You know what I mean? Her light was switched off before she could have reached her dreams. I couldn't really put the puzzle together. It didn't really make sense. I still didn't believe until I went to PE to bury her.
In a sense, I always believe that even though you aren't here in the physical, you're still here in the spiritual. And, you know, she's gone, but she's always going to be with us. She's always going to be present. The message that she leaves behind, you know, her legacy that she leaves behind, it's going to stay with all of us until we're gone, you know.
I think what you don't realize when someone passes away, especially someone so close to you, and this is in everybody's lives, is the future changes. Your future is different. Reeva spoke about getting married, and I knew what kind of ring she wanted, and I knew what she wanted her wedding dress to look like.
She was always a perfect girl. It's just so hard to believe now that her life has been cut short, that she will never have her wedding, she will never have her child. Her life is taken away from her.
She was very close to her mom and dad, and she worried about them. She worried about them a lot. She wanted to make sure that her parents were okay. Always.
She died brutally murdered.
It's only Oscar, Reeva, that know
What
the
happened?
true story.
Reeva Steenkamp, described in the police report of her killing as a 29-year-old female, had taken control of her life and created a new universe for herself. Through the power of her will, she had forged a personality and a public profile which held people in thrall. Reeva's success shone on people around her. It had begun to shine on her parents back in Port Elizabeth. Reeva was making enough money to give them some support. Now, Barry and June could get some financial compensation for the loss of their daughter. A civil suit is pending. But the killing of Reeva has shattered their quiet universe.
Her parents are so broken that no amount of money, no amount of anything is ever going to bring their daughter back. It's heartbreaking.
If I could say something to Reeva, it would be that I know your life was cut very short, but I'm very grateful because not many people will achieve as much as you have in the short space of time you've lived.
Reeva never forgot how fortunate she was. Her many strengths, intellectual and physical, had begun to reap rewards and recognition for her. But Reeva also knew how crucial it was to share that success and to pass on the lessons she'd learned. A year after Reeva's death, her friend Pearl is back at Lerato House. The girls here have faced many challenges in their lives. Reeva knew they would face many more. Reeva's speech, the speech she never gave, is almost complete. The power of Reeva's words has transformed the spirit of Lerato House and the atmosphere of this sad morning. It's deeply affected Pearl. She's now decided to work closely with the girls here, picking up where Reeva left off. Hope, love, a happy heart, and an open mind. These are the words that sum up Reeva Steenkamp. These are the words that will echo in the silence she's left behind.
I hope that you have the most amazing Valentine's Day and you're spoiled with love and roses and chocolates. Go home and tell your parents, siblings, neighbors, friends that they're appreciated. You will go to bed with a happy heart and an open mind for the future.